Welcome back to Long Automotive. The question on the day is, how rough is too rough? Are you as crazy as I am? Do you want an air-cooled Volkswagen and you don't have a lot of money? Then you're probably going to end up with what I've got here today. It's really rusty. Most of the bottom of the car is gone, but it's a good factory color, and I think it's still got good bones. So it would make a pretty good, you want to call it a rat rod candidate, a survivor, preservation project, however you want to spin it. What is it and why should you care? Well, this is a 1964 Karmann Ghia, finished in Terra brown body with a pearl white roof. And really the only place you can see that now is what's left of the color tag in the front. And here in the drip rail, you can still see some of the factory paint that hasn't been gone over. Most of these things that you find are orange, red, yellow. I've seen some blue ones. Haven't seen a lot of brown ones personally. One or two for sale here and there, which I think is a shame because it's, in my opinion, one of the better colors that they made the Karmann Ghia in. My intention, or my ultimate desire, would be to bring this thing back to where it was with the white top and the brown paint. You can see here some of the brown paint on the door as well. This car's been painted yellow once, and it's currently in this kind of cream color that's not great. And as far as bodywork's concerned, it will need quite a lot, and there's a lot of rust too. If you know Volkswagens, you know the floors, there are none in this, as well as it needs rockers and heater channels, which are also really common. Not a lot of length of either of those things. In addition to that, it needs the bottom of basically every panel on the car. So I don't think it would be smart to bring this thing back to concourse level or whatever you want to call it. I think for starters, if I was to bring this thing back on the road, it would be exactly that. Get the body structurally sound, get the engine in it running, get it stopping, make it safe. That's it. Don't worry about what it looks like. Go from there. Then I'll be able to determine whether I really like the car enough to tear it down and do a complete body restoration, which is what this will end up being. If it ever went back to the factory colors. But as you can also see, the car is 100% complete. Every nut, bolt, and screw, apart from things that have rusted off over the years, is present. The interior is 100% complete. The engine bay is complete, and even down to these sweet Pioneer speakers that somebody probably put in the 80s. They're still there. Everything's here the way it should be, including all the rust. So, hey, you know. Oh, jeez. So like I said, this is a complete car, and that includes the engine bay. Got a belt on it, pull the dipstick, it's got oil in it, really doesn't look that bad. So you're gonna be sitting there asking me, hey Kyle, why don't you do a will it run, and why aren't we hearing noise out of this thing? And though yes, it is complete down to the air filter, the little flapper, cloth fuel lines and stuff. I tried to turn it over and it will not turn all the way over. So I don't want to risk breaking stuff, but see, this thing a turn, it spins, but it just hits a point there that's completely solid, and I don't want to risk hurting something otherwise would be fine, right? So this isn't a numbers matching engine anyways. I looked up the numbers on it a while back, and this is like a Volkswagen replacement OEM engine. But I do believe it to be the single port 1200 like would have come in a 64. And I have no intentions of really changing that initially, at least. Let's say that if it did run, it would run on a 1200 or 1300, something similar to what it would have come with, not anything wild, dual port 1600, anything like that, at least to begin with. If you want to evaluate the body on this thing, it's not hard to see that it's going to be a lot of work to get it right. There's rot everywhere. Every single panel needs work. I don't know how long this thing sat outside, but for one of these sitting in the weather for a long time, it's kind of to be expected. That's one of the more sketchy holes in it. Moving around to the front, one of the things that needs addressing is the nose, and that's because, like most of these things, this one was crashed and repaired poorly and then sat in the weather and rotted to death. So the nose is completely full of Bondo, and if you come in here, you can see the bottom of the pan there is completely gone. The inner wheel well there is rotten. The front end is completely crashed and hacked up. And this whole lip around it is completely gone. The hood is completely rotten. There's just not a lot of good left in the nose of this thing. And that would be really one of the more difficult things to fix on one of these, is the nose. And you can take a look inside of this thing too. Like I said, everything's there as it should be. And if nothing more than a cool thing to see how they would have been, or how they last, or anything like that, everything is in it still, which is kind of amazing for one of these, even the headliner. Nothing in here is good, but it's all there. So just a short one today for you guys. I just wanted to show you around my Ghia and show you kind of some of the air-cooled stuff that I have here. I can't promise you that this car will be fixed in the near future, but I do intend to do something with it. And hopefully it's fixing it in some regard and getting the engine out of it running and freshened back up. And I would really like to get a title for this thing and get it back on the road in some fashion. Like I said, it will end up not being a restoration project, but it would be cool to see it on the road again. Even better if I was able to fix it good enough to get it painted and stuff, which, I'm not a fool, I agree, is a ton of work and extremely ambitious, even in this shop here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, you want to see more air-cooled content, let me know. Jump down in the comments, tell me what you think we should do with this thing. And as always, hit that subscribe button for me, hit that like button. It does a huge favor for the channel traffic, and we'll see you in the next one.